Oh, I guess we're live again. Might as well be, right? Let's see. Get a little refresh going. Got the good music happening. I guess now we're going to try to figure out, like, what is the way we can find peace with all this madness, you know? Fighting's easy, right? Fighting's definitely easy. But how do we find peace? I think that's the main goal. And in order to find peace, we have to find the problem, and we got to find the truth. And I guess that's what we're doing here right now, right? No reason not to. Yeah. Decent. All right. Good. And let's check the levels here. And we're going to see what Charlie Kirk has to say about his beliefs.
Get into that. The other aspect that I think is very concerning. Some people have used this debate as an excuse to peddle their Jew hate. There is a disturbing rise online of people that want to blame the Jews.
Any type of hate is wrong, honestly. Shouldn't have any type of hate. I think that's what's most important. What do y'all think?
Buddy, if you are blaming the Jews for your decisions, you are on a bad self-destructive cycle and you should stop.
Absolutely. And we're also going live every single day of 2026. So make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Beepod Sendik, you are back, brother. You are back. Welcome, welcome.
Stop immediately and repent. That is evil and that is dark and that is wrong. You should not do that. But there's a lot of things the Israeli government does that I don't like. I can name them. The Israeli government has really bad abortion policies. The Israeli government has gay pride parades in downtown Tel Aviv. The Israeli government pushed that.
Yeah. A lot of people don't agree with some of the things they're doing over there.
Vaccine on all their people and basically turned Israel into a petri dish for a vaccine that none of us supported. I don't like
No one supported
the fact that the Israeli government mistakenly or unmistakably bombed the church the last couple weeks.
That's a pretty big thing, man. Mistakenly or unmistakably. Which one is he talking about? Okay, so I think he's talking about this one. On October 19th, 2023, an Israeli airstrike hit a building in the compound of the Church of Saint Porphyrius, a Greek Orthodox church in Gaza City. Gaza City. Let's see. Israel says it regrets deadly strike on Catholic church in Gaza. That's a start, you know, regrets it. Shouldn't happen, but what did it happen for? Yeah, man. Just like so many things happening at once. It's so wild. The cross is still standing up there. A little bit of the frame is gone. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said his country deeply regret that a stray ammunition hit Gaza's only Catholic church, killing 3 people sheltering there. A stray ammunition. Stray ammunition. Okay. Every innocent life lost is a tragedy. We share the grief of the families and the faithful, he said in a statement. Yeah. You know, people make mistakes, don't know if it's a mistake or not, but this is a little interesting as well. He said this is a Catholic church. The other thing said it's an Orthodox church. This is an image of an Orthodox church. But you never know. Maybe all religions, came together and were praying for peace. So, yeah, not really, not too many people are going to agree with that stray ammunition.
Weeks ago. All that being said, though, Israel looks like a much better country when contrasted with what I said earlier, with Islamic totalitarianism around it. They're not a perfect country. They're not a country that, honestly, we should even talk as much as we do. But we as Christians should pray for the peace of Jerusalem. That is unmistakable. Yep. We as Christians should reject Jew hate, and we as Christians should find unity in one thing that we can all agree on. We should seek to bring every Jewish person on the planet to Jesus Christ, because Jesus is the answer.
That's powerful, man.
The last year
he was such a special man, and yeah, so much pain from that situation. Yeah, I can't say any of those chats, chat. Oh my gosh. Stop that. Iranian-backed Houthis in Yemen attack Israel for first time in a war. The missile attack by the Houthis in Yemen marks an escalation of the war in the Middle East and may pose further risks to shipping in the region. What are we talking about here, man? All right, so these are the Houthis in Yemen. Maps.google.com. Yeah, man, Yemen. All right, so here's Yemen. Here's Israel. Can you guys see that frame or no? Yeah, you guys can see that. So, Israel, Yemen, Strait of Hormuz. Texas. Oh my gosh, Texas is awesome. Friday night, I hung out with some Texan, and yeah, Texans are hilarious, dude. Hilarious. I don't know if the Houthis are from Yemen. Revivalist and Shia Islamist political party military organized that emerged from Yemen in the 90s. Yeah, they emerged from Yemen in the 90s. So they emerged from here. This is a little weird that, like, there's things going on over here. There's things going on over here. Up there. Yeah. What happened to America First? Jen? Come on, man. Come on. Write an email to whoever can help America First. That would be ideal, honestly. All right, let's turn this into these are the Houthis. Analog weapons. Houthi supporters demonstrate. All right, so let's see what actually happened. May pose further risks to shipping in the region. Widening conflict that brings the potential for further disruption of global trade and markets. All right, so this is kind of like one of those things that's like, sorry guys, amateur hour over here, dude. Looking at a black screen. This disruption of global trade and markets. That's like something in bold for me right now.
You don't have to bring anything on a truck. You just hit a button and you can get some light from space. And it's not very
Let's look at something enlightening for a sec.
expensive.
So this is a tech startup, and anywhere in the world, if it's dark, they have a little mirror glass reflection thing that points sunlight to wherever you are and wherever your phone is.
You know, it's a couple $1,000s an hour, and that's about it. And you can use it for as long as you want. Each one of these little satellites is reflecting sunlight to a customer around the world. And I'm going to share a little bit more about who those customers are and how you can get this sunlight. You want to make it as easy as possible for people. So you can imagine using an app and bringing sunlight over to your exact location, wherever you are, in under 30 seconds at the touch of a button. All we have to do is rotate satellites and reflect the sunlight that's passing by us in space. You don't have to bring anything on a truck. You just hit a button and you can get some light from space. And it's not very expensive. You know, it's a couple $1,000s an hour, and that's about it. And you can use it for as long as you want. Each one of these little satellites is reflecting sunlight to a...
All right, that's enlightening.
The
Yemeni armed forces, with God's help and reliance upon him, have carried out their first military operation. This operation involved a salvo of ballistic missiles targeting sensitive military objectives of the Israeli enemy in the south of occupied Palestine.
Oh, I see. So Houthis attacked Israel. All right, so this is starting to make a little bit more sense. I was thinking that Israel attacked them. Was that what you guys are thinking too? Yeah, a couple thousand an hour. Yeah, get that sunlight anytime you want. Oh, dude, I read completely wrong. Iranian-backed Houthis in Yemen attack Israel for first time in war. It's been a long night. It's been a long night. Okay.
The operation coincided with the heroic operations carried out by our Mujahideen brothers in Iran and Hezbollah in Lebanon. The operation successfully achieved its objectives, thanks be to God.
All right, so this is, you know, breaking news, but what's actually happening?
1 month in, the war in the Middle East is widening, a new front opening up. The escalation, the result of Iran-backed rebels in Yemen launching a ballistic missile at Israel today.
This operation involved a salvo of ballistic missiles targeting sensitive military objectives of the Israeli enemy in the south of occupied Palestine. The operation coincided with the heroic operations.
The south of occupied Palestine. Do they not even have... Oh my God, dude. Palestine is not even on the map. It's not recognized. So here's Israel. But I think... So here's Jerusalem. And I think before, like, Palestine was looking like this. Something like that. Oh, here's the Gaza Strip. That's wild. What would happen if I look up Palestine? I just don't see the word of it. It's here, but it's not really. I guess it's just like showing the area. Dude, do you guys see this? Is this, or is it only in like USA that it's showing this? That's so weird. Okay. Yeah, here's Ramallah, here's Jerusalem. Okay. Yeah, so here's Bethlehem, the birthplace of Jesus. Yeah. I guess the word Palestine is not there anymore. Yeah, Gaza's right here, bro. This is the Gaza Strip. Here's Rafah. Did you guys hear that idea of do you see this body of water here? The Gulf of Aqaba? Am I even in frame? Let me see if I'm in frame. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I should be in frame. All right, so here's the Gulf of Aqaba. And this is one, what do you call those things that are like not true until they are true? Conspiracy theories? That allegedly, is it here or is it here? I think it's, yeah. So here's one port or whatever. But one idea is to go and take this portion of water and then make some bombs or whatever and clear out the land to create like one of those canals for shipping and those types of things. And Israel wants to take control of this for like shipping, because now what people have to do is they have to go all the way west over Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, Sahara, Guinea, down to South Africa and all the way back to bring things to India or wherever on this side or anywhere around here. But if they just broke the land here, then their shipping routes would just be like absolutely massively much easier and save a bunch of time, oil, and all of those things as well. But yeah, you know, for the new generation, who knows? That's where Palestine was, you know, or so wow, Google Maps is not showing it anymore. But all right, that's new to me. New. All right, so these guys are from Yemen, and they attacked Israel. Yeah, okay. Iran's leverage over the Strait of Hormuz has frustrated the Trump administration war effort. Roughly 15% of the world's oil and 20% of its liquefied natural gas passed through the narrow strait, but maritime traffic has been effectively blocked after attacks and threats. Maritime means like sea, water, ocean. About 4,500 Marines and sailors from the Tripoli Amphibious Ready Group have begun arriving in the region, U.S. military officials said in a statement Saturday. The three-ship group includes the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit, a 2,200-member task force that includes a battalion of infantry Marines trained for raids by both amphibious landing craft and aircraft. On Tuesday, the Pentagon has also approved the deployment of a couple thousand soldiers with the 82nd Airborne Division to the Middle East. Are they going towards Yemen now? What in the world? Among the most, okay, talking about attacks, among the most recent were at least 10 injured in an Iranian attack on Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia on Friday. 2 of those service members suffered serious injuries. The Israeli military elaborated only on the targeting of Shuaib, alleging that he was operating as part of a special operations unit within Hezbollah under the guise of a journalist. The military said he worked to expose the locations of Israeli forces and disseminate Hezbollah propaganda. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun, in a statement, described those killed as civilians doing their professional duty. Video broadcast by Al Arabi in the aftermath of the attack showed their tripods, microphones, and cameras splayed out amid the wreckage of their car. Under international humanitarian law, journalists are owed protection during war. Yeah, dude. If that dude's working, undercover to expose locations of Israeli forces, journalists are not going to like him because he's putting journalists in danger. Oh, it's called the Suez Canal. Oh, Mr. TC777, thank you for joining in on the chat. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Ryan H, thanks for joining in the chat, bro. Can't really talk too much about that, but yeah. Yeah, man. All right. Is there any footage of this attack? With these Yemen attack footage.
One month.
Kind of looks like B-roll.
Sirens wailed across Tel Aviv as missile.
Bro, you think Egypt controls it? No, I'm just joking. I don't know. Suez Canal, Egypt. Yeah. So yeah, how I think that that's actually one of the reasons Egypt is extremely successful is because of the canal, but obviously, with trade and those types of things. And so I think, they might want to make their own, but who knows, man? It could be all a conspiracy theory. I'm not saying I know factual evidence about it, but
were seen in the sky over that city and the occupied West Bank. No injuries were reported in the barrage, but a strike overnight in central Israel resulted in several casualties, including 1 death. The CBC's Katie Simpson is in the region with more on a new Iran proxy.
okay, they just said it's the Houthis in Yemen. And now they're labeling it as Iran fires new missile barrage at Israel today via proxy.
Entering the war.
Is considered a significant development and expansion of the conflict. And
girl, talk to me about expansion. Yeah. All right.
The opening of a new.
Is this England over here? I think this is England, right? Our background? No, it's not England. This is not what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about a different building.
front. Many analysts and observers had wondered, was it going to be more of a case of not if the Houthis were going to get involved, but when the Houthis were going to get involved. This is an Iranian-linked group that operates out of Yemen, and Houthi leadership confirming it fired a barrage of missiles toward Israel. Israeli officials confirming at least one interception. This is considered significant because in the past, the Houthis...
Dude, how angry would you be at whoever put this camera super close here? You're going to destroy a lens, dude. You're going to get dust all over your camera. I hope they waterproof the camera. Check out this.
This is considered significant because in the past, the Houthis have taken aim at ships in the Red Sea. And so the new concern is, in addition to this war being fought on a new front, are there going to be challenges?
Ooh, Bill Bush, thank you for joining in on the chat. 2 weeks before October 7th, Benny Netanyahu said they would build a canal through Palestine to rival the Silk Road China was going to put through Iran. Oh. Yeah, dude. What? Competition. Could be.
Challenges when it comes to another...
Are they still going to put that through Iran, or you don't know yet? Or I don't know. I obviously don't know. That's the reason I'm asking you.
Vital shipping route through the Middle East. During the Hamas-Israel war, which started after Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th of 2023, we did see the Houthis take aim at some ships in the Red Sea, and there is concern from analysts, there is concern from officials that with the Houthi involvement, could that perhaps translate to more shipping problems when it comes already to the concerns when it comes to these vital energy routes, vital shipping routes. So it is considered a significant development now, 1 month after 1 month of fighting. Another significant development, 12 American soldiers, 2 of them seriously injured in another attack, this one in Saudi Arabia. According to American officials, this was an Iranian missile and drone attack targeting an American base in Saudi Arabia.
According to who?
Attack targeting an American officials. This was according to American officials.
According to American officials, okay.
This was an Iranian missile and drone attack targeting an American base in Saudi Arabia. 12 soldiers injured, 2 of them seriously injured at this.
I don't know. That's what I heard.
This point, but again, it is a significant development. Roughly 300 American soldiers have been injured in the fighting in this conflict. 13 in total have been killed.
The CBC's Katie Simpson.
Oh my God, one is too many. Who's selling, man? Who's selling? Yeah. Yeah, man, all those GoPros and that footage. Oh, that's going to be wild, man. That's going to be wild. Oh, man.
In Doha.
Well, you know, like, trying to figure out how to make peace out of this whole thing is, like, interesting. You got to see what the real reasons are, man. What are the real reasons?
There are fears that the war in Iran could escalate after Iranian-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen said they have launched a second wave of missiles.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all. Probably a lot of people have been extinguished, unfortunately. Right, Nate? All Trump had to do was sign the nuclear agreement, and all of this could have been avoided. Man, it's a complex game of chess, bro. I have no idea.
And drones against Israel. Well, the Houthis have in the past attacked shipping in the Red Sea, and there are fears they could target the Bab al-Mandab Strait, a vital global shipping route. Elsewhere, there have been attacks across the region, including one on a US military base in Saudi Arabia, injuring 12 American troops. This report from our World News correspondent, Joe Inwood.
It has become a familiar sight. Iranian Red Crescent rescue teams searching through the remains of shattered buildings. The US and Israel have launched thousands of strikes right across the country. They say they have all but destroyed Iran's military capabilities. But still, the regime fires back. Today they released this footage of what they said was their 85th wave of missiles.
Some big trucks going on over there, man.
And this was Kuwait Airport after...
Kuwait Airport? Here's a Google Maps of Kuwait Airport. Just to give you an idea of... How's my frame? Sorry, y'all. Decent. Okay. All right, so it's on the... east side of Kuwait. Israel's here. Isn't Kuwait like a super peaceful place, like kind of neutral? Kuwait maintains a foreign policy of neutrality, acting as a mediator in regional conflicts and avoiding. Dude, that's crossing bound, dude. When someone's like, "I'm gonna be a mediator," like, who's the guy that was that like moderate that was in the chat earlier? Come on, y'all. It's a neutral guy, dude. While the country historically describes itself as a neutral actor, it simultaneously preserves a critical security alliance with Saudi Arabia, its neighbor, and the Gulf's political center of gravity. Oh, man. I don't know. That kind of feels like that big buff dude who gets drunk and beats up a blind quadriplegic, you know, and deaf and mute quadriplegic. I don't know. It's like they're neutral, bro. Come on, take it easy. But what do I know? I don't know, man. Yeah, so that's where Kuwait is, and that's a Kuwait airport.
An apparent drone strike. Dragging US Gulf allies into the conflict has been a key part of Iran's strategy. And today, another front seems to have opened. Vast crowds took to the street in Yemen after the Houthis, allies of Iran, launched missiles at Israel.
We are preparing for a multi-front war, including with the Houthis. We know how to defend Israeli civilians, and as I said before, we act, we don't talk. Anyone who threatens Israeli civilians, we will strike them.
But there is a bigger concern, that the economic war deepens. Now, if the Houthis decide to start attacking shipping in the Red Sea...
Exactly, yeah. Like a 12-day war for... No, come on. They've been arguing and fighting for a long time. A very, very long time. Yeah, 500-year fight. Maybe even longer than that, man.
It could have far-reaching economic consequences. In order to avoid the Strait of Hormuz, Saudi Arabia is currently diverting around 4 million barrels of oil a day through a pipeline to Yanbu on the Red Sea coast. Now, that means the oil bound for the Asian market can then sail...
Rocked On Podcast Network. Trump gets rid of green energy, then starts a war to push fuel prices higher as all of his friends are buying oil stocks. Over 1.6 million stocks were sold the day before the strike. Yeah, but no one knew about the strike, right? No one knew about it. It was just, they're assuming it was a good time to buy. Thank you for the chat, buddy.
Sail south in relative safety past Yemen. But that's not always been a safe route. For nearly 2 years, the Houthis attacked international shipping, damaging around 30 vessels. Now they say they could target commercial shipping again, making the Bab al-Mandab Strait a key flashpoint, blocking routes for Saudi oil in both directions.
Yeah, for sure,
with
bro.
huge implications for the global economy. This war is increasingly divisive in the US. Today, huge protests took place. But overnight, Donald Trump insisted it was a fight that needed to be had.
There was blackmail, period. Under my leadership, America is ending the threat posed by this radical regime.
There are diplomatic efforts to end the war. Pakistan has said it will host talks with Egypt and Turkey.
Where is America's tax dollars going? In America? Somalia. Just want to see where Somalia is compared to Yemen. Is Yemen? Okay. Neighbors. Because there's like Somalian parrots and pirates. I doubt there's parrots, but there's pirates over there. So maybe they're related. They're next to the Gulf, next to money. Kind of making sense.
Turkey, a sign of just how widely the shockwaves are spreading. But both sides seem to be talking.
America killed 165 Minab's students. America. Man. Propaganda on a bunch of sides.
Cross purposes.
But you never know. Like, you don't know until you're there and you talk to those families and you talk to the community and, like, you see what's actually happening and you see the text messages and job duties. So wild, man. And it's so unfortunate so many innocent people had to die.
The US has said Iran is defeated, essentially calling for their surrender, while the message coming from Tehran is equally uncompromising.
Trump and the commanders of the US Army must have clearly understood that the region will turn into a graveyard for American soldiers, and they will have no option but to surrender.
All the while, the human cost of the war continues to grow. The Iranian Red Crescent released this footage following what they said was an Israeli strike. The US has said this could all be over in weeks.
It's weird because you can't really see an injury. You know how women put on makeup that's like white? I'm not saying this is it propaganda or not. I don't know anything about it, but I'm just kind of just seeing it like for the first time.
How that will happen is far from clear.
It's so weird how everyone's just like kind of looking at her, but you never know. You never know.
Joe
The ground does look kind of dusty and kind of rattled.
Inwood, BBC News.
What was at the start of this one? It didn't really show the rumble or whatever. The wreckage.
Well, live now to our correspondent James Waterhouse, who's in Jerusalem for us now. And James, to what extent do you think the Houthi attack on Israel is an escalation of the war in Iran?
Well, Ben, the footprint of this already vast war is widening further. Now, it was...
Mr. One Boston has joined the chat. That looks like a kidnapped kid. Welcome, buddy, welcome. Happy to have you back.
It's always likely that should Iran have asked the Houthis for help...
Yeah, bro. Baby actors, dude, what's going on, dude? Are they getting paid? Are they under that, what do they call it? That union, the actors union? It looks like damage all around. You see it? You see those nice outfits, too? Where are we at? 418, okay. I don't know. One thing that's a little weird here is like, all right, this guy is well dressed right here, but yeah, you're right. There is wreckage here, you know. No, you're right for sure. But everyone's pretty well dressed over here and not too dusty. Like this guy, you can see he just got out of the shower like 2 hours ago.
All the while, the human cost.
But they could be helpers, you know. That guy's got a mask.
Continues to grow.
This guy's a journalist. Trying to get those,
The Iranian
get the message across. Everyone looks kind of like not dusty is what I'm saying.
Red Crescent released this footage.
And I was dusty earlier today. I was working.
Following what they said was an Israeli strike. The U.S.
You can tell it's an AI image of Israel because no one is burning. He just needs some milk.
has said this could all be over in weeks.
Yeah, they are walking on rubble.
How that will happen is far from clear. Joe Inwood, BBC News.
But you never know, like maybe like behind the camera they're doing construction. Have you guys ever seen that like thing where they're talking about protests and this and that, and like basically everyone is like right in like where the camera can see, and so like beyond where the camera can't see there's no one there, and beyond here there's no one. They're all like squeezed in together, and then like they're like, okay, it's over, and like some guy on the side was like watching them, and they're just completely paid to, I don't know, promote something. I don't know what it was.
Because of their long-standing relationship, because of the military and financial aid the Houthis had received from Iran. We have had 2 reported missile strikes or attempted missile strikes today. Israel's air defences aren't usually too troubled by missiles launched from the south, but of course it's also having to defend against salvo after salvo of Iranian missiles, which make their way over, and today has been no exception. And so when you think about America's claim or wish that this war will be over in weeks rather than months, when you consider Israel's own widening offensive in southern Lebanon, where 1,100 civilians have been killed and counting, there's very little sign here in Israel that the war is winding down in any way.
All right, James, thank you very much indeed. 3 Lebanese journalists have been killed in a targeted Israeli airstrike on their press vehicle.
Oh my, on their press vehicle? Oh my God. BBC, the CNN of Europe. Thanks for letting me know. I have no idea. Yeah. Oh man.
In southern Lebanon. Among those killed was a well-known correspondent for Al-Manar TV, a station affiliated to the Iranian-backed...
Sounds like it, if you listen to him.
Lebanese armed group Hezbollah. The Israeli army claim he was a Hezbollah member who had been exposing Israeli military positions without providing evidence. Well, also today, a funeral was held for a boy who was among 5 people killed in 2 airstrikes in a town in southern Lebanon yesterday. And from there, our Middle East correspondent Hugo Bashega sent us this report.
This war is destroying not only Lebanon's present, it is also taking away part of its future. This was the funeral today for Jawad Yunis, killed in an Israeli airstrike as he played football with his cousins. He was 11.
Hating on those football players. Man, if you're hating on them, just try to get better at football. You don't need to kill somebody. Come on, what are you doing?
His mother was devastated.
My son is gentle and pure. He loved the idea of martyrdom. And when he grew up, he wanted to be with the resistance. He wanted to resist the enemy Israel, who killed him.
Israeli bombs have pounded towns and villages across Lebanon. In the south, Israeli troops are pushing ahead with their invasion. Israel says it is targeting Hezbollah, which has continued to launch attacks against Israel. But here, often it's civilians who are killed.
This is the location that was hit, and the scale of the destruction gives us an idea of the power of the attack. This house has been completely destroyed. There's a lot of damage.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at this. I'm not laughing at this. I gotta put this up here for y'all. What in the world, dude? What in the world? If you guys don't laugh at this, then I shouldn't be laughing at it either, bro. Wrong one. All right, so allegedly, Iran hacked U.S. intelligence, and this is Kash Patel, FBI director. The only video leaked by Iranian hackers after the hacking of his Gmail account. We shouldn't laugh about this. It's not a joking matter. Oh, look at that footwork. Yeah, buddy, get it. Well, bam. Yeah. No, no, no. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, my God, bro. I was checking the whole time for... I was checking for AI, bro. I couldn't find AI. I don't know, but... Are you other countries, y'all jealous because Kash Patel can dance? It doesn't look like Kash Patel. Whoever it is, they can dance. Yeah, let's see if it actually is Kash Patel, dude. Good point. This little circle thing kind of looked weird to me. I was like, I never seen that type of footwork, and I've danced quite a bit in my life, dude. FBI suffering from skill. Can I move frame here? Oh, come on. Come on. X, Twitter. I'm looking at the face here. Yo, greetings from Finland. Thank you for joining in on the chat. Just to let you know, we're going live every single day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can learn how to dance like Kash Patel. Maybe tomorrow we'll be going over these steps. Oh, dude, that's not Kash. I don't want to like lead you guys off or whatever. I don't want to misguide anyone, but I'm just kind of looking at the right side of his face, left side of his face. That's a straight on. No, don't do that. It's probably taken like 7 or 8 years ago with the camera quality, or maybe 10 years ago. All right, let's think about what Kash Patel in 2016. And this might not be Kash Patel because he kind of looks yoked here. Like but you know, you can gain weight and lose weight, but I guess he's not really showing his arms here. Or his arms aren't. There's his hand. Hand size, similar. Ooh, use Gemini for reverse search. What do I do? Take a screenshot of this dude and... Here, Abadus. Oops. There's a link to the actual video. You can teach me how to do it. I don't really know how to do that. Or I didn't put too much time into that yet. But sorry guys, that's the reason I'm laughing. Yeah, neither have I. I don't know much about him, but he seems like a pretty
in
cool
this
guy.
building on this side.
I guess.
And people here say that this attack happened at around 1 o'clock in the afternoon and that it came with no warning.
Where is this?
And this is the fear that many have across this country of not knowing when and where the next Israeli attack will hit.
10i has reverse search, at least for images. Okay, thank you, Abadus.
The Israeli military is yet to explain why it attacked this building.
Okay, so it's not Israel, because Israel attacked this building.
Lebanese officials say more than 120
attack will hit.
The Israeli military is yet to explain why it attacked this building. Lebanese officials say more than 120 children have been killed by Israeli attacks in this war, with hundreds more wounded.
And then my back.
Jawad's aunt, Zainab,
Lebanon. Okay, thank you. That's what I thought I heard too.
The attack.
1 hour later, I have...
She has a broken spine and fractured leg, but doctors believe she will fully recover.
Had you ever imagined that something like this could happen to you?
No, at all. There's nothing for Israel to bomb us.
I think it's Lebanon.
Because I'm sitting with my husband and with my children.
Iranian backed Houthis rebels in Yemen have launched a wave of missiles and drone strikes against Israel. Looks like things are just warming up there. Don't read the comments, dude.
We're playing football with me and my cousins, and then Israel do this thing.
Jason Boo C4P, they keep bombing Lebanon every day. That's horrible, man. Lebanese people have taken so much pain, you know.
Israel and Hezbollah are vowing to keep on fighting. And more innocent children will be lost to a war they're too young to understand. Hugo Bashega, BBC News, Southern Lebanon.
Southern Lebanon.
U.S. and Israel are making gains in Iran, including a strike on Iran's nuclear...
Tell me more. All right. I'm starting to like this channel. Great sense of fashion.
facilities by Israel just late yesterday. This comes as an Iranian retaliatory missile attack on a military base in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, Lebanon just constantly gets like the short end of the stick, and some really awesome people from Lebanon too, and Lebanese food, and oh my gosh, you know. So they're Middle Eastern and Mediterranean. civil war in 1975 to 1990, major conflict between religious and political groups. There were some outside powers involved, Syria, Israel, and others, and it still affects politics today in Lebanon. What makes these Lebanese people unique? They're Christians, Maronite, and Orthodox. They're also Muslims, Sunni and Shia, Druze. They're multilingual, Arabic, French, English. English is widely spoken over there. And so many Lebanese people live worldwide.
Injured at least 12 Americans, 2 of them seriously hurt. Our Fox News senior correspondent Mike Tobin is live in Tel Aviv with the latest on all of this. Hi, Mike.
And Aisha, the president says Iran is decimated. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the regime is weak and getting weaker. Still, what Iran has the ability to do is fire missiles.
Yeah, Lebanese food. Very, very good.
Missiles into Israel, and they do that every day. Today, a couple of missiles got through the air defenses and struck a collective farm outside of Jerusalem. The initial report.
Ryan H. in the house, and we complain about $4 gas. 100%, dude. 100%.
Reports came in of a single missile strike, and what I want to show you behind me here is one crater.
PP Lepu 1227, extreme hardship breed extremists, and that's unfortunately the truth, honestly. But also, there's a possibility where people can grow past that and not get affected and not make lives bad for them and the other people around them. So
Crater behind me, and there's an excavator working right now. There's a second big crater here. So clearly we had 2 missile impacts. Witnesses say
send me the link, Ryan.
they were one after the other. We have had so many of these.
B-Pod said, Nick, I can't say that, but
cluster bombs in recent days where they drop off bomblets with 10 pounds of explosives. Clearly, this is something more than that. In recent days, we have seen some of these missiles come in with 100 kilograms or 220 pounds in the warheads. This seems to sync with that. It's not one of the big 1,000-pound warheads. Still, it's powerful enough to take out all the windows of the surrounding buildings. If you look behind me here, there's a junkyard for cars there. One of the cars is tipped up. All of the windows are blasted out of that. So the IDF is investigating right now with the missile fire to the south of Israel. The Houthis have now joined the fight after sitting on the sidelines for a month. The IDF says Houthi rebels fired a ballistic missile and a cruise missile. Both of them were intercepted, not resulting in any injuries. But the complication of the Houthi rebels getting involved in the fight is they can now complicate shipping to the southern end of the Red Sea and the Bab el-Mandeb. And you know you already have difficulties with shipping through the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, of course you have.
We do.
Aisha, back to you.
It's a big problem. Mike Tobin, thank you very much.
Yeah.
It became quite clear during these meetings with the Iranian negotiating team that we could not make a deal that fulfilled your objectives of the following. No enrichment whatsoever. We heard they possessed enough 60% enriched material.
Crash Hooper 241. What do you mean you need to move? Where are you going to move to, man?
460 kilograms to make 11 atomic bombs.
So the U.S. is
Ryan 100%. MAGA voted for lower gas. And NNW. No new wars.
exhausting all efforts in trying to get to a peace deal with Iran as the president weighs sending 10,000 more troops to the Middle East. Iran, however, has rejected the U.S. peace plan as one-sided and issued its own proposal saying that we will decide when the war ends. For more, let's bring in Fox News.
Come on, James. Who's going to cry to Newsom? That dude's an angel, right? He helped those people in the Palisades so much, man. Just so much.
Contributor and former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, who knows a lot about how Iran works and operates. Secretary, thank you so much for joining me.
Be with you this.
Oh my gosh, we played the link before it got deleted. And we got clips of me dancing to that. That's pretty cool.
I want to start with
Thank you, Abadus.
this peace proposal. Iran has obviously rejected the White House's offer. They say that they want control of the Strait of Hormuz. There's differences when it comes to enrichment. So where does that leave us at the moment?
I should look at
KAJM2CZ. Was there poison gas in Iraq after all? Oh, I don't know, bro.
leaves us exactly where President Trump has indicated. We're going to win this. We're going to defeat the Iranian regime such that it can't continue to threaten the world. You see, you just saw the report of Houthis. We can separate this as an.
Yeah. Salman Mashwani. Peace would be amazing. If we can have peace on earth, that'd be perfect. Ryan, does Pompeo have an OF?
Iranian effort to control the entire Middle East. They're doing this for decades with their proxies, building out a missile program that can now strike good parts of Europe. And this ends when the Iranians concluded that they're no longer going to try to hold hostage the rest of the world in the way that they have for all these decades. And President Trump should be commended not only for his commitment to achieve that, our military has performed excellently, as has the Israeli military, to continue to take down risk. And this is going to take more work. There's more risk has to be taken down, and only then can we come to an arrangement with the Iranians that allow the world to do what it needs, be safe and secure from the threat from this crazy regime sitting in Tehran.
You know, we have been doing a good job when it comes to the military.
You know, I like to look at all sides. I don't care about any news channel. I'm open to everything. I'm just trying to find the truth, honestly.
Front, taking out a lot of their ships and weapons.
And is there a reason you do not like Pompeo?
I want to play a soundbite.
Oh my gosh, Pompeo had the Taliban in the White House?
Though, from Senator...
Were they called the Talilet before? They got banned?
John Kennedy, a Republican.
Taliban, Talilet.
As talk kind of increases about potentially sending in boots on the ground, this is John Kennedy saying, I don't know if that's a good idea. Watch.
Do you foresee boots on the ground?
I don't know. I hope not. I think we've accomplished our objectives. In Iran, we've destroyed the infrastructure of the Revolutionary Guard. That was why we went in.
I don't choose sides, man. I love everybody. I'm just trying to find the truth over here.
And as far as I'm concerned, it's time to get out.
And the U.S.
Fix it, dropping the W's. Can't have peace with Democrats buying protests and illegal aliens.
Central Command just tweeted about an hour ago that U.S. sailors and Marines aboard USS Tripoli just arrived in the U.S. Central Command area of responsibility. And this includes 3,500 sailors and Marines on top of...
Brahan Halitaj, thank you for lighting up the chat. There has to be a way we can find the truth, honestly. Like, is there a network? Something where I can get some, like, some truth somehow.
The transport and strike fighter aircraft, as well as the...
The truth doesn't exist. Oh, the truth does.
Amphibious assault and tactical assets. You don't move things like that into place unless you're planning on using them, right?
Yeah, truth is Jesus.
Look, I think that's right. But you also move them there for security and defensive purposes to keep our troops safe that are in the region. So there's lots of radar systems, counter-air systems that are being moved into place as well. But you do move it there for a purpose of leverage and negotiation. Mr. Witkoff's position is much stronger when there's a bunch of Marines sitting on your doorstep. There are multiple purposes to our military used. And, you know, I respect Senator Kennedy an enormous amount, but we're not there yet.
Dude, your internet, you got to fix your internet. Whatever you're doing, like, it's just jumping in and out. Jumping in and out.
You know what? There was one thing I wanted to actually talk about. Because I did get into a rant about this yesterday, and it was so good. Not the rant, but the tweet. So yesterday, I go on this big rant on Telegram, And I'm talking about the delusional nature of Republicans. I was kind of mad yesterday. I was kind of like pissed off. I was just kind of out of sorts. And I was just thinking about how sad it is. It really weighed on me, the gravity of the situation. You think about, and you know, this is my thing. You think about what we were promised in 2024. And it was two things.
Bro, we got to be able to laugh.
We were promised mass deportations and no new wars. That's it. Those were the big ticket items. Mass deportations and no new.
Oh, come on.
I was just kind of think about mass deportation.
Mass deportations and no new wars. That's what the chat was saying. That's what MAGA was supposed to be, right?
And no new wars. That's it. Those were the big ticket items. Mass deportations and no new wars. And you fast forward a year and a half later, as you know, spoiler alert, we literally got the opposite. It's not like we didn't get them. We got the opposite of them. We got, instead of mass deportations and no new wars, we got a new war and no mass deportations at all. So it's about as clear and unambiguous of a betrayal as there could possibly be. And it's not like debatable. There are no mass deportations. It's not happening. They shut it down. They never.
Yeah. What's going on with the deportations? Are there deportations or not happening? You know, I think deportations of criminals is a great idea. Get those criminals out. Keep the good people in, right?
Never got started. And whatever they were doing, they stopped. So that's off. And in case you haven't noticed, we're in a new war. We're in a war that we weren't in before. It's a war. It's brand new. Trump got us into it. So I can't really paint a clearer picture. We didn't get what we were promised. Everyone voted for one thing, and we got the opposite. We voted for mass deportations, no wars.
And Trump just said, I don't make any mistakes. The straight of Trump.
We got a war, no mass deportations. Now, to me, it is then obvious what has to happen. So the people that did this to us now have to lose. Like, isn't that, to me, that just...
1 year and almost 1 million deported. He'll surpass Obama numbers at this rate. Oh, okay. So according to Jason Martin, there are some.
Follows like a mathematical equation. It just logically follows. Okay, these people that we voted for, they promised us one thing, then they screwed.
I'm not a political guy. Come on, you know that.
Us. They totally fucked us over. They rug pulled us. They lied or scammed us, or they broke the promise, however you want to say it, so they forfeited the mandate to govern. We voted for you to do these things. You've done the opposite, so now we don't want you to govern anymore. So it logically follows to me that at the minimum, you don't vote. At the minimum, you stay home. And at the furthest...
KAJM2ZZ. Hey, you got random arrests of your citizens, at least. Everyone feels safe now. Were there random arrests of citizens?
Extent, you vote for the other side. Because the other side is the opposition. Whatever you want to say about them, we know that they're going to hold the first side accountable. They're going to challenge and oppose and degrade and diminish the side that we...
Ryan, if you had to spend 4 hours with someone and the only thing you had was water and coffee, unlimited amounts of water and coffee and a bathroom, would you rather spend it in a room with Biden or Trump?
We voted for. And yet you see these people on Twitter all day, every day. It's like they're going through the stages of grief. And they're bargaining. They're in denial about it. They won't acknowledge the problem. They say, well, it's not really a war. Well, it's not boots on the ground. Well, it's not nation building. Well, Trump has been talking about a nuclear Iran for 40 years. Well, and so I went.
But it's okay, chat. Don't worry. Everyone's welcome here. Ryan, you're all good. Don't worry about it, buddy.
I went off the other day about this, and I said, at the end of the day, You are not in control here. Okay, this is the new talking point that I've heard. This is what made me think of it. And pay attention, okay, because you're going to see this on Twitter. And you might already have, maybe you already have seen this on Twitter. The new line that they're all trying out that I've heard over and over again is they keep talking about the generational coalition which has been squandered. Have you heard this one? I see this, and I've seen it with such regularity.
Ryan, I'm still trying to figure out how we can get Trump in 2028.
With such frequency that I honestly think it is a true talking point. Like, this is something they cooked up in the group chats. It's an influenceable campaign or something like that. It's some kind of paid social campaign, or it's just one of these things that is just, this is the lingo of that clique, of that faction. But I see this on Twitter for the past couple weeks. You think about where we are. We're in this war with Iran. It's like the worst case scenario. It's just going so badly because we can't extricate ourselves from it. We can't leave. Gas prices are at an all-time high. It's going to crash a global economy. And you're thinking about how bad the situation is, and all they can say about it is this generational coalition has been squandered. Trump put together a generational coalition, and it could have been used for one thing, and it's being squandered because of the war in Iran. And I don't like that. I don't really like how they're saying that, because it almost seems like it's taking away from the other problems. Like, war in Iran is bad in and of itself. War in Iran is bad because it's going to bankrupt the country. It's another forever war. We're going to build an Israeli empire.
Got to give Ryan kudos for using the word centrist. Well done, man.
It's a betrayal of all the promises. It's America last. Like, there's so many things you could say about it in and of itself that they will not say. They're still downplaying it. They're still minimizing it. They're still minimizing the issue and saying, well, it's not a ground war. Well, Trump is going to handle this the right way. The only thing they can bring themselves to say about it is that the war is making Trump less popular, and that will prevent someone like Vance from succeeding in the future. And that is the problem with it. Is that not the implication? They're not saying this is a deep spiritual betrayal of MAGA. They're not saying this is, in principle, a betrayal of America first. They're not saying we're doing the bidding of Israel, that a foreign lobby brought us into this conflict. We've been suckered into it for their benefit at our expense. They won't say any of that. The most they'll say is, the war is going to make Trump unpopular, and then he can't do what he said he was going to do. And so there's this hint of they're still hanging on. They're still hanging on to this idea that Trump is who he said he was, that MAGA is what we thought it was, that Trump is still trying against every obstacle to do the right thing, for, like, he's still our guy. His end game is still a total American victory. So that's one. I don't like that. They say, the generational coalition is lost. It's like, bro, we're 1 month deep into the Iran war. Do you know how insane that is? Am I the only one that gets that? We are in the Iran war. You have the Iraq war. You had the Libyan war. You have the Syrian war. We're a month deep in the Iran war.
How wild is it when he says it like that? How wild is that?
That Trump brought us into. And you're talking about a generational coalition. That's one. Number two, and here's maybe the more important point, okay? The first one's a bit subtle. The more important point, and I tried to tell you this throughout 2024, and I've been telling you this throughout 2025, and listen closely, okay? Let me tell you a little something about that generational coalition.
I think I got something for y'all.
Where is he? Where's that? What? Just trying to scare her. Just I'm not getting the Halloween spirit of it all.
Not a good idea around the Secret Service. Are you okay?
I'm fine. Just let's start. Hi, welcome to another edition of Between Two Ferns. I'm your host, Zach Galifianakis, and my guest today is Hillary Clinton. Thank you very much, Mrs. Clinton, for being here. Critics have questioned some of your decision-making recently, and by you doing this show, I hope it finally lays that to rest.
Oh, I think it absolutely proves their case, don't you?
Are you excited to be the first girl president?
Well, I mean, being president would be such an extraordinary honor and responsibility. But being the first woman elected president and what that would mean for our country, and particularly what that would mean for, you know, not just little girls, little boys too, that's pretty special.
Mm-hmm. Not to take away from the historic significance of...
Just so y'all know, I love Hillary.
You perhaps becoming the first female president, but for a younger generation, you will also become their first white president, and that's pretty neat too. As secretary, how many words per minute could you type? And how does President Obama like his coffee? Like himself? Weak?
You know, Zach, those are really out-of-date questions. You need to get out more.
What happens if you become pregnant? Are we going to be stuck with Tim Kaine for 9 months? How does this work?
Ryan, you're welcome
I
back,
could send
buddy.
you some
Great to have you here.
pamphlets that might help you understand.
First, you supported Obama's Trans-Pacific Partnership deal, and then you were against it. I think that people deserve to know, are you down with TPP?
I'm not down with TPP.
No, you're supposed to say, yeah, you know me. Like the hip-hop group.
Don't tell me what to say.
Fine, lose. Country goes to shit. Let's talk about Trump.
Let's.
When you see how well it works for Donald Trump, do you ever think to yourself, oh, maybe I should be more racist? When he's elected president in Kid Rock.
When Hillary smiles, she has such a nice smile. Oh my gosh. She's like, so nice.
He's elected president and Kid Rock becomes Secretary of State. Are you going to move to Canada or one of the Arctics?
I would stay in the United States.
And what would you try to...
Try to prevent him from destroying the United States.
So you're going to lead the Civil War?
No, I wouldn't take up arms. I think that might be a little extreme.
Oh, right, because you were saying before we were rolling that you wanted to take away everyone's guns. Very cool. Cool.
I really regret doing this.
Any regrets over losing the Scott Baio vote?
Not a one.
So it wasn't heartbreaking that...
No.
Yeah, but Chachi, I mean, who's...
Can you guys, what is that? She lost the Scott Baio vote? I don't know exactly what that means. Do you guys know? I'll look it up.
Who's going to be next? Max Headroom? I'd love to meet the person who makes your pantsuits.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because for Halloween, I wanted to go as a librarian from outer space.
On the context of the 2016 selection, Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis, what we're watching. Any regrets over losing the Scott Baio vote? Actor Scott Baio was a vocal supporter of Donald Trump. And the question was a satirical, I don't even know how to say that word, a satirical reference to Clinton losing the support of certain celebrities or demographic group. Oh my gosh. Sometimes I forget how funny Zach Galifianakis is, dude. He doesn't, when he gets on, he doesn't miss, bro. He just hits hard. And like, if you're on the other side of the pitching mound, good luck, bro. Good luck. He is not nothing to play with. All right. Satirical. There you go. You learned something new. I learned something new.
I think that would be a good look on you.
Have you thought about what you're going to be wearing at the debates?
You know, there's this thing called the double standard, and so I think about, well, what should the first woman nominee of one of our two major...
Can I just stop and tell you guys, I love every single one of you. You guys are amazing.
...parties wear to the debate, and I have no idea, so if you've got suggestions, I'm open to them.
Do you wonder what your opponent might be wearing? I mean, what do you...
I assume he'll wear, you know, that red power tie.
Or maybe like a white power tie.
That's even more appropriate.
When you went to Donald Trump's wedding, did he write his own vows? And did Michelle Obama write Melania's?
I really couldn't see or hear very well, so I'm not quite sure what his vows were, but I'm sure they were great and huge and wonderful.
Like his vows. Chelsea, your daughter, and Ivanka Trump, Trump's daughter, are friends. Does Ivanka ever call Chelsea?
We got some more W's in the chat. Jason Martin, you got to give Hillary credit. She stood by Monica's side.
You know, to talk about boys that might have crushes on her, like her dad.
I don't think so.
What's going to be the #1 focus of your presidency?
Oh, Zach, it has to be the economy. We need more good jobs with rising incomes. We got to make the economy work for everybody, not just those at the top.
We need to take a break. We just need to have a word from our sponsor. Okay.
Washington is broken. The truth is, too many politicians are totally controlled by special interests and lobbyists. We're going to make America great again. I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
He approves the message.
Why would you play a commercial
She's so angry.
from my opponent in the middle of our interview?
He paid me in steaks.
I'd be afraid to eat them if I were you.
It's a good cut of meat. I think it's part of the asshole. Well, this has been a lot of fun, Mrs. Clinton. We should stay in touch. What's the best way to reach you? Email?
Dude just hits, dude. What's the best way to stay in contact? Email?
You've got mail.
Oh my God, dude. He's just so funny, dude. I love Zach Galifianakis. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Jason Martin. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. I have this feeling Trump invaded Iran to cover up the Island Man files. Remember, Island Man was a massage agent. Yeah, bro. Very possible. Speaking of, no, don't play the music. A little meme for y'all. Everything is Iran, this and Iran that. All I know is Iran out of balls and the pain is real. But on a more serious note,
the world by dumping FBI Director Kash Patel's personal emails, exposing humiliating details like Indian bank accounts and secret trips to Havana, Cuba, not for business, but for pleasure. But here's what the corporate media won't touch. Iran didn't hack Patel, they hacked Israel, they hacked Mossad, just as we've been reporting for months. That's right, the sitting FBI director's entire personal inbox was sitting on Israeli servers. Israel holds the compromat on one of America's top law enforcement officials. And it gets darker. The Handler hack team says this is only the beginning. They've got more, much, much more, including pedophile code words, cannibal code words.
yeah, saw that lookalike in Florida.
That not only is Jeffrey Epstein alive and living in Israel, Kash Patel and his former deputy Dan Bongino played active roles in the cover-up. Before we dive in, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join the People's Voice Locals community to join our incredible community, support the channel, and gain access to exclusive and uncensored content. Kash Patel's year from hell just got a whole lot worse. The same man who botched the Epstein Files release.
Do you think Island Man E is still alive or no?
And who's been covering up the Charlie Kirk assassination investigation, just had his personal emails hacked by Iran.
With silver hair.
15 past with the breaking news. Reuters is now reporting Iran-linked hackers are claiming they have breached the personal email inbox of FBI Director Kash Patel.
Yeah.
Those hackers have published photographs of Patel along with his purported resume and what appears to be personal correspondence dating between 2010 and 2019. The hack does not cover his time as FBI Director, but it does allegedly cover the time he worked in national security and counterterrorism at DOJ. And depending on how far into 2019, possibly his time on the National Security Council.
And the mainstream media? They're not giving you even half of the story.
This is just coming out. FBI Director Kash Patel has had his personal accounts leaked by the Iranian hacking group Hondallah. They've posted these different photos of him, as well as his resume and emails. They just posted this online. Today, once again, the world witnessed the collapse of America's so-called security legends. While the FBI proudly seized our domains and immediately announced a $10 million reward for the heads of the Hondallah hack members, we decided to respond to this ridiculous show in a way that will be remembered forever. Kash Patel, the current head of the FBI, who once saw his name displayed with pride on the agency's headquarters, will now
think he's actually alive, like 100% alive.
I'll find his name among the list of successfully hacked victims. All personal and confidential information of Kash Patel, including emails, conversations.
What was it? He like logged into one of his video games that he used to play a while ago that only he has the password to.
Documents, and even classified files is now available for public download. This is the security that the US government boasts about. This is the cyber giant that thinks threats and bribes can silence the voice of the resistance. To the whole world, we declare the FBI is just a name, and behind this name, there is no real security. If your director can be compromised this easily, what do you expect from your lower level employees? Keep in mind, a while back, they also hacked the phone of the former Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Barak. This is him in Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan apartment.
The people are rising up, demanding answers. How can the director of the FBI be so breathtakingly incompetent that he can't even protect his own personal emails?
Kash Patel, the American people want to know, how does it feel to be a cuck for Israel?
Just quickly, if Kash Patel had been running things through VP.net, foreign adversaries wouldn't have stood a chance. This is the world we live in now. Check out VP Iranian operatives.
States, names you would recognize, not only regional actors, but individuals embedded at the highest levels of power in the United States. Names you would recognize instantly if I said them, which I won't, not yet. At first,
you could definitely tell this guy speaking is like Iranian with how he's speaking. They try to like change his voice, but the way he speaks, you can just tell he's Iranian. Oh, it was a Fortnite account? Ah, yeah. Want to be factual here. Thank you for the clarification.
I thought it was a trick, fabrication, a plant designed to mislead us. But the volume, the consistency, the metadata, you can't fake that at this scale.
Yeah, people were saying that Israel got like smashed by Iran, and we tried to look up some photos last night. I couldn't find any photos, so if you guys have any photos of like actual footage of what's happening, I'd be happy to take a look.
Not terabytes of it. Not with that level of continuity. Israel, what they had, what they were sitting on, it wasn't just intelligence. It was leverage. Complete psychological profiles, travel records, private habits, financial anomalies, personal weaknesses cataloged with clinical precision. Not just politicians, judges, media figures, donors, gatekeepers.
Oh, I thought you were talking about this video, but I think I know what you're talking about. Photos and stuff. It's being censored. Okay. Makes sense. Yeah.
You start to understand something very quickly when you see it all laid out like that. Power doesn't move the way people think it does. It's not ideology, it's not loyalty, it's pressure. And then there were the emails.
So as far as it being like censored and all those types of things, do you think the reason they're doing that is just to keep like the hopes and people feeling like good about the situation rather than like scaring them and causing fear and terrorizing them? Operation Epic Failure.
But these emails expose far more than simple leverage. They reveal an entire network of potentially compromised politicians, powerful figures whose dirty secrets are now sitting in the hands of foreign adversaries, pulling puppet strings in Congress and the White House.
You notice patterns when you read enough of them. Certain phrases, strange repetitions, language that feels coded, innocent on the surface. But when you cross-reference it across different threads, different years, different people, it stops looking innocent. Some of the younger analysts joked about it, called them FBI code word.
Yeah, code words. Code words are often used for a lot of things in a lot of places.
Pizza, parties, travel arrangements that didn't make sense. It sounded ridiculous until it didn't. Until you start seeing the same language used by people who have no reason to know each other, except they do.
He also dropped...
Wild, right? Super wild. Yo, Backwoods Hillbilly, thank you for joining in on the chat. How are ya? I did not know Israel makes reporting on it illegal. In Israel, too. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. They want to keep the morale high over there for sure. Yeah, Crash Hooper 241. I need some of the accurate information, too. Keeping tally on my risk board. That's right.
It's a bombshell. FBI top brass, including Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, have...
Mr. One Boston. So the airport in Israel, Tel Aviv, that one is actually destroyed?
been deeply complicit in covering up the crime of the century. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself in that jail cell in 2019. He was extracted in a Black Ops military operation.
Extracted. Island Man was extracted. He wasn't extinguished. The different EX word. Extracted, not extinguished.
And quietly exfiltrated to Israel.
Allegedly.
Where he's still living safely to this day.
In one thread, there's a reference to a name you know, Epstein. A man the world believes died in 2019, but the tone wasn't mourning, it was logistical. He's still a variable in the equation. I remember staring at that screen for a long time. We didn't just access a system. We opened a vault, and what I saw was only the beginning. There are archives we haven't even decrypted yet. Entire datasets still being processed. Terabytes upon terabytes. This, what I'm telling you now, this is just the opening.
God bless the good people of the earth.
Salvo. You think the world you see is the real one. It isn't.
No wonder Kash Patel's former deputy Dan Bongino was just told to his face that he's a paedophile protector.
You're a pedophile protector, a pedophile protector. Pedophile
Dude, he's saying this in front of a cop. This is a police officer right here.
protector. I was a cop for 9 years.
Oh, he's a cop too.
You're a pedophile protector. You're a pedophile protector. Fuck you, dude.
Dropping the F-bomb, dude. He wasn't happy at all. He was instigating. He's like, yeah, hit me, dude. Hit me. So I get that self-defense thing going on.
Fuck you.
Dan Bongino is completely traumatized.
The guy in the background is like, don't swear. Don't swear.
After being called a paedophile protector to his face. The next day, he tried to convince his audience that people who demand Epstein accountability are not in our club.
They show up at MAGA clubs and cause chaos. They had a group of them show up this weekend after this event, screaming and cussing, calling people. By the way, not just me and others. These are guys telling you they're part of your crew. This actually happened.
Is that guy giving you Biden vibes? Like, he didn't actually say what he said, but like right here, I'm getting Biden vibes.
Demand Epstein.
Pedophile protector, a pedophile protector. Pedophile protector. I was a cop for 9 years. You're a pedophile protector. You're a pedophile protector.
Son of a.
Recognize it was political code on the CSM called
including Jeffrey
pedophile protector.
Dan Bongino is completely traumatized after being called a paedophile protector to his face. The next day, he tried to convince his audience that people who...
This actually happened. These are guys...
in our club.
Look at this guy talking.
They show up at MAGA clubs and cause chaos. They had a group of them show up this weekend after this event, screaming and cussing, calling people. By the way, not just me and others. These are guys telling you they're part of your crew.
I'm getting Biden vibes for some reason. I don't know.
This actually happened.
I think it's probably because he's reading a teleprompter.
Pedophiles. Emails from March 18th, 2025, obtained by reporter Jason Leopold, show FBI staff seeking guidance about how to protect compromised VIPs. Declassified files prove that Dan Bongino was approached in March 2025 to help redact and censor the Epstein files. No matter what he does, history will always remember Dan Bongino as the man who protected pedophiles.
This one's not readable. It's completely redacted. For the most part, the first 50 pages.
Never forget, FBI Director Kash Patel said under oath, there's no credible information that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked minors.
There's no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
In the files?
In the case file.
There is an archive that has 2.5 million documents, 38 witness statements, and a federal conviction that says otherwise. And that heavily redacted archive only holds 1% of the documents the FBI is sitting on. Let's be...
Only 1% of the documents the FBI is sitting on.
The moment Patel finishes reading the papers, his entire demeanor shifts instantly. Then, he makes 2 secret hand signals to somebody off camera.
I think this guy might be off here.
Why would the FBI director need to do that?
All right, so he's got his glasses on here. Oops. And he just rubs his ear. Looks up. Looks up again. Takes off his glasses. Fixes his hair. And rubs his ear. I think, you know, he knows he's on camera, so he's like fixing his hair or whatever. Like, he actually cares he's on camera. Unlike me. You know, I should be fixing my hair and all that type of stuff. But I don't see like he's giving signs here. Takes off his glasses. But his hair is also short, so I don't know if...
Kash Patel has been living as a hostage from the moment he read the Epstein files. Remember the interview with Dan Bongino from February last year? Megyn Kelly said it looked like a hostage video. She wasn't wrong. The coup is complete. While we've all been worried about creeping Sharia law, they've been sneaking in Noahide law while we were looking the other way. Texas Governor Greg Abbott was joined by Chabad Lubavitch yesterday and signed a proclamation endorsing Noahide laws in Texas.
That's a wild motto, by the way. That is super wild. If that's true.
He also celebrated the birthday of Chabad's fake messiah and told the rest of the state they should do the same. What is Noahide law? And is it compatible with the great state of Texas? You be the judge.
Got this rabbi's prayer at one of Trump's rallies.
May we move forward together seeking to build a future that reflects the will of God and his values based on the 7 Noahide laws that will unite us all together. Amen.
If you break one of the Noahide laws, it's punishable by capital punishment. Want to know the first law? Idolatry. You know what they consider idolatry?
Just to chime in on Brian, the phrase "by way of deception thou shalt make war" is a widely cited, though sometimes contested, English translation of the Mossad's former motto. I'm not going to try to say that. But anyways, what it is more accurately translated to, you might like this: in counsel or strategy, you shall make war. Or, for by stratagems you wage war. Oh my God.
Idolatry to be acknowledging Jesus.
So, ChatGPT, I recently heard that Donald Trump was invited by the Jewish Sanhedrin to an international divine court in Israel. Is this correct?
Yes, that's correct. The nascent Sanhedrin invited Donald Trump to support the creation of an international divine court based on the 7 Noahide laws.
Yes, the 7 Noahide laws. We find this in the Jewish Talmud, correct?
Yes, the 7 Noahide laws are derived from Jewish tradition and are found in the Talmud.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. The consequences for breaking one of these Noahide laws would be capital punishment. Is that correct?
In ancient interpretations found in the Talmud, breaking the Noahide laws is described as warranting capital punishment. However, these interpretations are not reflective of modern practices.
But according to Sanhedrin 57A, that capital punishment is decapitation, correct?
Yes, in Talmud Sanhedrin 57a, decapitation is mentioned as a form of capital punishment for breaking the Noahide laws.
Now, the first Noahide law would be, thou shalt not commit idolatry, correct?
Yes, the prohibition of idolatry is one of the 7 Noahide laws.
Now, under Jewish beliefs, committing idolatry would be the worshiping of Jesus Christ. Is that correct?
In traditional Jewish belief, worshiping any entity other than God is considered idolatry. This perspective includes the Christian worship of Jesus.
Sounds like the once mighty state of Texas is in the process of being colonized.
Well, a town in Texas has over $4 million of its own local tax dollars being sent to Israel. When they audited their books and found this, the town of San Marcos decided to stop that aid. Now, Governor Abbott, Greg Abbott of Texas, says you actually can't do that. It's against the law. Now, Israel receives billions of dollars in federal aid from the United States government. This local government, for a small town of only 70,000 people, found that their residents were sending $4 million a year. And they said, we actually don't want to do that. We want to send that to our local schools, our fire departments, maintain our roads. And the state is saying, you cannot do that. You must continue to send that money to Israel.
And don't forget, the internet is their new battleground. Whether you're in a position of power like Kash Patel, or just somebody asking the wrong questions, digging into the darkest rabbit holes, the goal is the same. Discredit you, isolate you, ruin you. That's why tools matter. Check out vp.net/TPV. A VPN built on the idea that you shouldn't have to blindly trust anybody. Plans start at just $5.
It isn't real. Okay. Did Trump win the popular vote and the Electoral College? Yes. But what was the real generational coalition that came together in 2024? It was not a coalition of voters. The voters had nothing in common. You understand this, right? Who were the voters? It was a lot of Hispanics, and it was a lot of white people. And it was the podcast bros. It was guys like Joe Rogan, and it was guys like Tim Dillon and the comedians. And it was various people that were sick of wokeness. And it was apparently some Muslims and Arabs near Dearborn, Michigan, who were upset about Palestine. And it was leftists who sat out the election because of Biden's genocide in Gaza, and so on and so forth. But the real coalition in 2024 was happening on another strata. It was vertical, not horizontal. Okay, or rather, you're looking at the wrong latitude. I'll say it in that way. The generational coalition was not a latitude. It wasn't a horizontal down here of Mexicans and whites and, black people that didn't like Venezuelan refugees. The coalition was up here, different latitude, different horizontal. The real generational coalition was all of the little tech money mobilized by J.D. Vance, David Sachs, Elon Musk, Andreessen Horowitz. So all the little tech people that wanted to supplant big tech. So all the little tech people, all the effective accelerationists that wanted their drone companies, their AI companies, their rocket companies to get the government contracts instead of Bezos' rocket company and Anthropic's AI company and the other drone companies from private equity. It was the little tech. The other part of the coalition was the Israel lobby, good old-fashioned Israel lobby, the Jewish media that stood down and didn't oppose Trump, the donors like Miriam Adelson that donated $100 million, AIPAC, which was involved in 24, dethroning progressives and even trying to dethrone a conservative that voted against foreign aid to Israel. And it was Wall Street. It was the bankers in Wall Street, like Tim Mellon and Ken Griffin, who wanted the corporate tax rate permanently lowered, who wanted a Federal Reserve chairman who was going to aggressively cut interest rates to get the velocity of money going to grow the economy. That was the real generational coalition. And that is why in 2024, 60% of the money that Trump raised was raised from the big donors, and it was only a third that was raised from the small dollar donors. The real coalition was a moneyed coalition. It was a coalition of the interests that wanted to see Republicans come in and take over from Biden. That was the generational coalition. Now, to the extent that there was a media blitz, to the extent that Mark Zuckerberg stood down in 2024, to the extent that there were all of these vibes, and people thought this was a movement and we were going to end wokeness, and it was a reaction to Biden's auto pen and whatever you want to call it, that was a farce. It was a trick. It was a show that they put on for you. They were stimulating you. You were...
Mr. Fuentes here has like the energy of just like a hot knife slicing through cold butter. Like he's just steamrolling this, the past and the present.
Stimming. You were watching the color store. Okay, you were watching flashing lights and bright colors and hyperpop, and you were being stimulated to go out and vote for this real generational coalition of interests. And so on the contrary, the generational coalition was not squandered. The generational coalition was used.
Mr. One Boston, are you talking to me? Do I have a Discord? I do have a Discord. It's on the YouTube.
And then discarded. It was put together for a particular interest. That interest has already been served. Thank you, come again.
Or if that's not directed to me, towards me, sorry.
They cut the corporate tax rate last year.
ZFan3, happy No King's Day. Yeah, buddy.
They're working on the AI moratorium. Doge brought Palantir in through the back door in the Pentagon and in all the departments and agencies. And we're at war with Iran. So the generational coalition was brought together to do those things. Not, it wasn't brought together and then those things happened in spite of the real aspirations of the...
C. Lewis 5812 MAGA is fueled by the bad word, the bad big S word. Please explain yourself. Would like to know more about that. Thank you.
The real coalition, no. The coalition was put together to do those things. Those things are being done. Now the voting block is exploding.
Jerry Garcia 249. Imagine how the world would be if that actually happened. My goodness. How different would the world be? Like, just literally think about it. So wild. What a wild thought. Not that I think it would ever happen, but such a wild thought.
Exploding, and they don't care. They don't care because they got what they wanted. So who is left holding the bag? Who is left waiting outside on the curb? Who is left hanging in all of this? It's you. You are the sucker, the voters that thought it was going to be a never-ending Creed concert, that thought we were bringing grunge back or whatever, that it was going to be a golden age and there's going to be smart cities on the blockchain and it was going to be Columbus Day and we'd all say Merry Christmas and we're going to get trannies out of...
Tara Matthews, how are you? Thank you for joining in on the chat.
Girls soccer. You are left holding the bag saying, but Mr. Trump, what about our golden age? It's not a movie. That was never going to happen, okay? And so there's something so delicious about that.
Yeah, Jason, I can see that for sure.
That you have all these people, they're still hanging on. And they're still hanging on. Our generational coalition has been squandered. You got raped. You got raped. Your rapist got what they wanted, and now you are left hanging, used and abused, saying, I thought it was real love. I thought it was a real thing. Wrong. Wrong. And that's what these people don't understand. They say, because in their mind, the generational coalition was all of the posters on Twitter. And who are the posters? Jewish academics connected to Claremont? Next. Who are the other posters? Balding Gen X girl dads, cucks, people that care about the integrity of girls' sports, people that care about Columbus Day, people that are getting up on a stump speech at their school board meeting talking about, I'm proud to be white or something. You thought that was the generational coalition, numbnuts? They did. They thought that was the generational coalition, was a bunch of high BMI, balding, girl dads and wife guys, a bunch of Gen X cucks, and they were going to put on their theme music. They were going to put on Linkin Park, and they were going to stroll into Washington, D.C., and they were going to shit post with an A until, I don't know, they made Heritage America come back. Until they made it 1990 through science or magic. Yeah, no, I hate to break it to you, but that's not politics. That's called wish casting, okay? That's called magical thinking. That isn't real, okay? No, the posters are not in control of anything. They're not in control of anything, and they are not calling any shots, and they have no power. And they will never get what they want, okay? The generational coalition were the billionaire oligarchs that put up the literal hundreds of millions of dollars in donations to make all this happen. And that's why they got their cabinet picks. That's why they got taken care of in the big, beautiful bill. That's why the State Department serves at their pleasure. Okay, that is how politics works. And this is something that people need to ingest and download on a fundamental level. What does that mean for all of us? It means that we need to have our own coalition. Okay, you cannot put your trust in a movement where you are the junior partner. You cannot place all of your faith and all of your hopes and wishes on a movement that doesn't answer to you, that doesn't value you, that isn't listening to you, that doesn't prioritize you. Then that is a different movement than in 2016. In 2016, the message was explicitly, this is about the forgotten men and women, and we're going to drain the swamp. And we're going to create a website called greatagain.org. And we're going to hire people from inside the country to come into DC and work in government. People forget that that was a thing, but it was. Google it.
Have a good night, Jason. Thank you for being here, buddy.
In 2016, the movement was premised on the idea that it was a populist takeover leveled against the deep state. It was a loaded gun pointed at the deep state, and it was the people and our leader, Trump. But a lot has changed. In 2016, 60% of the donations were small dollar donors. Now it's the inverse. In 16, Trump said, I'm not taking super PAC money. I'm not taking billionaire money. I'm a self-funder. I'm going to fund my own campaign. I don't have donors with me. It's me and my son, Barron, and that's it. It's me and my supporters. That
If I can do it without getting in trouble, I will stream it.
was what the Trump rally was about. It was people power. He doesn't have the money. He doesn't have the establishment, the endorsements, but he had that people power, the excitement, the enthusiasm. That's what he represented. That's not the case anymore. And I tried to tell you that in 2024. It's different now. It's different. It's not the same. The value proposition is completely different. That was not the message in 24. And no one could say that it was. In 24, the message was, I'm running to get out of jail. I need as much money as possible. I need to be everything to everyone. Some people think we're getting mass deportations. Other people think we're stapling green cards to diplomas. Some people think they're...
What a gnarly point he's throwing out here. It's starting to make so much more sense, honestly. I don't know. Is it for you as well?
We're getting the West Bank in a war with Iran. Other people think we're getting no new wars. Am I wrong? In 2024, he needed to be everything to everybody. That is how you get your generational.
Okay, I got to fix that link then. Can you send it on my Instagram?
Coalition, because everybody was projecting onto him what they wanted. And that's why people in Dearborn, Michigan read a rally with him thinking he was going to free Palestine. But then Trump would go to Mar-a-Lago and hug Netanyahu, who believed Trump was going to
I need to fix that Discord thing for sure.
Deliver to him the West Bank. And Trump would go to a rally or the RNC where they're holding up signs that say mass deportations. Then he would go on the all-in.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt that that's probably one of his game plans for sure.
Podcast and say, we're going to staple green
Billy Bob, thank you for joining in on the chat.
Cards to the diplomas of every foreign student that.
Yeah, no, that's old Instagram. My Instagram is that one, the @tacit_purpose.
Comes here. He was.
I have to set it to be a permanent link if you want it to last forever.
Everything to.
Oh, are you talking about the Discord? Okay.
Everybody, because he needed every vote, every nickel, every dime to get elected by any cost to get out of jail.
30th.
And so he did. And then the chips fell where they would.
Good morning, brother. How are you?
Cabinet members were picked, and from then on, we knew what we were going to get. It was only a matter of time. And now here we are. And these things are happening. They're deep. It started early. We got the big, beautiful bill. Everyone hated it. We got the Epstein cover-up. Everyone hated it. We got that. They tried to sneak in that AI moratorium on regulations. Everyone hated it. Now we're getting a war with Iran. Everyone hates it. Then people say, Mr. Trump, you're squandering the coalition. Trump says, the coalition, I got out of jail. What are you talking about? He is getting the benefits conferred upon him by the presidency. He is getting legacy. He is building up his legacy for the history books. He's building a new White House next to the old one. He renamed the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America, literally leaving his mark on the map. He has these ambitions of territorial expansion, remaking the world in his image, and so on and so forth. All the things that he's done, remaking the Oval Office, the Rose Garden, turning it into a patio. The benefits are being conferred upon him, and in exchange, the benefits are being conferred upon the oligarchs. The people are holding the bag. You see? So no, the generational coalition wasn't squandered. It was a spook. It wasn't real. It was used up like a booster rocket and then discarded because the things they actually wanted achieved their escape velocity, to follow the analogy. The generational movement propelled Trump into office.
Which link are you talking about?
So that Trump could deliver for his backers.
Instagram or Discord?
If he loses popularity and if, little John Doyle and all those sad little heritage Americans, if they get their hearts broken in the process, hoping and wishing and dreaming, well, that's something that they're willing to accept. And this is something you got to keep in mind. When you're talking about the world empire of the United States, they're thinking in terms of decades and centuries and in hundreds of trillions of dollars. What is your complaint, citizen, denizen of Strip Mall Village? You live in a city which is really just like a glorified Main Street with a car dealership, a Holiday Inn Express, a Walmart, an Applebee's. Am I wrong? This is where you live. And lately, you're noticing it's getting a little too Mexican. Because the Mexicans are the migrant workers in the farms near your town or in the hospitality in your town or whatever. And you start saying, I don't like all these Mexicans in my town. You take a number and file a complaint at the help desk. I'm inconvenienced. I'm uncomfortable seeing these brown people.
Just to let you know, there's a lot of good Mexican. There's a lot of good every single race of people in the world.
In my Walmart, in my Applebee's, in my kid's high school or whatever. Do you think BlackRock, which has $20 trillion in assets under management, you think they care about that? Do you think that OpenAI, you think they care about that? Okay. Do you think Tim Mellon, do you think Jamie Dimon, who just built a skyscraper in New York City, do you think they care that you're inconvenienced? Who do you think brought them here? Why do you think they're here? And who brought them here? And who do they benefit? It's a new slave class brought in to replace the old one. You. They're being brought in by the elites. They're being brought in by the generational coalition because they make money, okay? Because that increases the profits of the oligarchs who funded the Trump generational coalition. So if you think that your provincial concerns from all the way out there in Nebraska or Iowa or Minnesota, you think they're reaching the imperial capital? So-and-so with 2 first names is mad that there's too many brown people in his neighborhood? They don't care because a pipeline needs to go through Saudi Arabia, because a pipeline needs to go through the Middle East, because the trade that goes through the Panama Canal needs to be charged and billed to a Panama control.
Mr. One Boston, that's the Instagram. I got to figure out how to do the Discord thing. Thank you for letting me know that link does not work.
Controlled by the United States, and so on and so forth. So we have to think a little bit bigger. We have to think a little bit more globally. And we have to be a little more sober-minded about these things. You want to run the government? Become the government. Don't vote for Trump thinking he's going to come and save us. He's going to come down the golden escalator, which is metaphorical in many ways, rich in symbolism. He never came down the golden escalator. He never came down.
Tara, I think B-Pod Sednick has like a ultimate game plan for that move.
From his class to help us. We have to go up, okay? We have to actually ascend.
Sorry. I got to fix that Discord before I know how to do that.
The escalator. If we are going to take what we want. So that's the message. I know.
Hopefully I'll have it done by tomorrow.
I'm kind of like, we're like an hour into the show already, but I keep seeing that message going around, and it couldn't be more emblematic. It couldn't be more definitive of how they don't get it. When they say our generational coalition got squandered. And I've been saying it in exactly that way. It's sort of sad. Your movement, our movement, your movement, my movement, to the extent that we were all part of MAGA and we have all these sentimental feelings about it, we have these attachments to it, this is all collateral damage.
Now, a big question is about paid protesters. You hear that a lot in a situation like this. What I want to do is bring in Adam Swart, the CEO of Crowds on Demand, to talk much more about how all that works and really to help break it all down for us. Adam, thank you so much, as always, for taking the time to be here with us.
My pleasure, Josh. It's great to be with you.
And Adam, first off, I wanted to talk to you just a little generally here, because of course you have your company, Crowds on Demand, but
Mr. One Boston, can I send it to you tomorrow? Are you going to be on live tomorrow?
I wanted to ask, people actually do pay for protesters to show up.
That's correct, right? And there's a lawful legal use of paid protesters, just like paid lawyers or paid other kind of advocates. And provided that they are abiding by all laws, they're not blocking roads without a permit, they are not, engaged in violence or vandalism, it's a completely legal practice. And in my view, it's actually an ethical practice. It's a way of bringing attention to an issue to compensate people to show up. That's what Crowds on Demand does. Now, when it comes into paying people to do something that is unlawful, that is unacceptable, of course, and that is something that needs to be taken seriously.
And explain to me the difference there, because something that you hear a lot when you have these protests, I mentioned it, but a lot of people will talk about, hey, these are paid protesters out there, and these are paid agitators. So explain to me kind of the difference there, how your company works, all of that for folks who are watching.
Well, first off, I think that both sides, right and left, love to sort of accuse the other side of being compensated as if to delegitimize the other side.
I can give you my handle on Instagram too, or on
right. It comes from the idea that people on my side are genuine, people on your side are not. So I think there's a little bit of a finger pointing, finger wagging going on there, where people want to try to delegitimize the other side. But when it comes to to agitators, right, that's a whole different class. Agitators are people who are actually there, sometimes paid, sometimes actually these are basically pirates. They're there to loot. As crazy as that might seem, they see opportunities for chaos with large
Is that who he hires?
scale demonstrations, and they come in to create chaos either for fun or to actually make money off of it in some sort of criminal activity, capitalizing
What was that Mossad quote?
off chaos, and that obviously is completely unlawful, and the authorities should be on the lookout for it. But I would also recommend that the protesters themselves be on the lookout for these agitators, because these agitators can cause disruption to the protest and also delegitimize what they're trying to do. Because if you have a group of 10,000 people and you have 2 people that are creating problems, then that can be magnified through kind of a reductio ad absurdum type of thing, where now it looks like the whole protest is violent when it only was 2 people that were engaging in that.
And I wanted to ask you, because you touched on this a little bit, but for those protesters, demonstrators who are out there, they're choosing to be out there, what do they need to look for to prevent themselves from maybe seeing some type of agitator? What should they do if they think they see somebody? Break all of that down.
Well, number one, it's very important to recognize that most of these rallies are lawful, permitted, peaceful First Amendment expressions. So if you are out there expressing your peaceful First Amendment right, you should be on the lookout for people who aren't doing that for your own safety. So if you see people who are talking about creating trouble, who are look like they are creating trouble, right? If they are armed and are looking to create chaos and are trying to instigate something with the police, my recommendation is at very minimum you get away from them, right? Because that is going to pose a security risk from yourself, either from them or from whatever happens.
Just to let y'all know, we are going live every day of 2026, so make sure you subscribe and share this with a friend if you like.
With the authorities. But my recommendation to protest groups and to the authorities, by the way, Josh, is to establish like a red phone, like the White House to the Kremlin, right? To stop nuclear war. We need to do the same thing with authorities and the protesters. You need someone of the protest leaders and someone on the authorities side to be in constant contact to make sure that the First Amendment rights are protected, but that chaos does not ensue, and that if there is an incident, that it can be de-escalated quickly rather than causing a bigger problem, which hurts the people of the city and infringes on the First Amendment rights of the protesters.
As far as kind of these different protests that are taking place,
thank you. Me too, Mr. One Boston.
Your company overall.
Did you share me your handle?
Which
one is your handle?
Misconceptions, misunderstandings that you think people have that you want to make sure
Thank
to
you,
clarify.
B-Pod said Nick. Take care.
Well, sure, Josh. Well, one of the misconceptions is that we have anything to do with riots or unlawful conduct. We are in the business of peaceful, respectful, lawful, persuasive advocacy. We have obviously been part of multi-billion-dollar cases. We have been, we were part of the Delete Facebook movement. We've done actions around taking on big pharma, big tech. We have been extremely effective, but all within the context
you don't have to share it.
Lawful advocacy, never in unlawful advocacy. So that's one. The second part is the ethics of what we do. As I said just now, we've done amazing campaigns that I think made our country better, but also through the actions have hired people who actually agree with the cause. We just facilitate their activism. So one misnomer is that, at least in Crowds on Demand's case, is that we have people who don't care about the issue, when the opposite is true. We actually vet everyone who participates in each one of our events to make sure they care about the issue and are committed.
That is huge news. Israel just lost their last water supply. Oh my goodness.
The peaceful, respectful advocacy. So those are kind of the two biggest things that people don't really
D. Corbett, 1976. I don't doubt it. I do not doubt it.
understand about us. So I like to come on shows like this because people see like a riot or people see someone who doesn't care about an issue protesting and they associate it falsely with us. And that's just not true.
I have to ask kind of the other side here as I play devil's advocate overall. When you talk about people hiring protesters, demonstrators for rallies and things of that nature, do you think in any way, or what would you say to folks who say that this is creating a false impression of how many people actually care about a specific issue?
Well, I think that in reality, Josh, before 1911, members of the British Parliament were unpaid for their service, right? So as a result, only wealthy people could have realistically become a member of the British Parliament. What Crowds on Demand does is we pay people to express their actual opinions and go out there, right? And a lot of those people are hourly workers or people who have childcare and all of this sort of thing who wouldn't otherwise be able to go. So that's number one. The second part, honestly, is that what we're doing is we are a publicity magnet. We create publicity, but if the cause is not compelling, we can't make a bad cause work ultimately because it's just not going to, like, we can get a lot of attention for it. Protest has that effect, but ultimately a message, I mean, just look at Michael Bloomberg or Jeb Bush, right? These are people who came in with a ton of money, a ton of paid advocacy, but ultimately failed, not because they didn't get their message across, but because people weren't interested in their message. So I don't want to overstate the power of what we can do, but what we're doing is just helping people put their cause or their company in the right context.
All right. Adam, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here. We definitely appreciate it, as always. Anything you want to make sure to add, anything we missed here before I let you go?
Well, my one recommendation to people out there protesting is try to think what are you looking to achieve with your protest? Who, number one, number two, who is actually empowered to help you achieve that? And number three, how do you persuade that person? Or those people? And if the answer to all of those is through public protest, do it. But I think that a lot of times people attend a protest and they feel like that's great, or they post on social media and they say that's great. But the reality is that if you want to achieve something in America, in a country where a lot of institutions and lobbies have so much power, you have to do more than attend one event. You have to be extremely strategic about deciding who actually can help you, how to persuade them, and pulling those levers properly. Otherwise, ultimately, you can have a protest or an event that gets a lot of coverage, but ultimately nothing will happen from it.
All right. Adam, thank you again for taking the time to join us and helping to break it down. We definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, that's pretty wild, Boston. Did you make that?
Damage. Getting us sentimental about it, nostalgic, wistful, emotional, that's all part of it. Getting us to emotionally invest, that's part of it. And you got to realize that in politics, there's just no place for those kinds of feelings. This is the biggest game in the world, and there's no room for crying, there's no room for sentimentality, there's no room for any of those kinds of feelings. Only calculation. So I see these sad girl dads and wife guys on Twitter. What about our generational coalition? Mr. Trump. They, honest to God, thought a generational movement spawned in response to trannies playing soccer with their daughters and Columbus Day being renamed Indigenous Peoples Day, and because Disney Plus cast the wrong character in The Little Mermaid or something. I mean, that's literally what they thought it was. A guy like Matt Walsh, or that archetype, he really drives his daughter to soccer, watches Disney Plus with his daughter, and he thinks that is the world revolves around this, or at the minimum, the world of politics revolves around this. And it just doesn't. Sorry. It doesn't. So we have to think as an empire. You, me, we are citizens of the empire. Welcome to the American empire. We're in it. Yes, we have a global reach. No, that's not going to change. Yes, we have a massive amount of diversity, and we're going to have to live with that. Actually, we're going to have to be realistic. So we need a cutthroat mentality of increasing. You and me citizens of the global empire, as heritage Americans, legacy, multi-generational, we have to take what is ours. It won't be given to us. No one's going to save us. No one is going to come and hand it down. We have to fight for it. We have to take what is ours. I'm so sick of all the doom and gloom. Are we going to win? Is it possible? Is America over? It's always sort of been over. We're born, we live, we die. We watch others die, we get sick. We don't get what we want. Life belongs to those. The empire belongs to those that show up and fight and win. And winning isn't easy. So that's how you have to do it. And that's how we have to approach politics. So don't get mad, get even. Don't hate the game, play the game, get in the game. That's why I tell people, you want to get involved, be a college Republican, get on a campaign, be an intern in the administration, and start working your way up the ladder. I'll tell you something, whether a Republican wins or whether a Democrat wins, there's going to be groypers in the next administration because we've taken care of things. We are outcome independent. And just like Anthropic has their people in this government, and just like OpenAI has their people, and just like other people have their people, we need to have our own people. Outcome independent in the administration. No loyalty to Republicans, no loyalty to...
That's incredible, Mr. One Boston. That's wild. Would be awesome to see some of your inventions come to fruition. Well done, man.
Democrats, loyalty to ourselves, loyalty to the country. That's what it really means to engage in politics. So anyway, that's that.
And where is the loyalty that the politicians have to the people after saying all those things that they are going to do, and then they obviously do not do those things? It's so wild. Just so wild to me. It's so wild. Is Barry in the chat? Yeah, I don't doubt it. Probably some beautiful places over there.
Cola, bro, in your soul. You can't get enough of it, man. People are... It's like a cocaine, nicotine, Coca-Cola, bro, in your soul. You can't get enough of it, man. People are drawn to Costa Rica. They think they're coming from mountains and sloths. Yeah, that's why you leave Costa Rica feeling unfulfilled and come back like eating a pack of Skittles. It's because you got all the sweet and none of the nutrition. They go to these resorts. They've never been to a warm Tico home and had a woman invite them inside for her own homemade drink that she made out of stuff she...
Hey, Mop Top 7575, thank you for joining in on the chat.
She curated with her hands in her kitchen, from food she gathered from the garden, from trees she planted herself. The layers of love on love on love are intense. They're next level. You would never know. Why? Because you have to walk down a muddy thing and take your shoes off and go up to this lady, and is not beautiful by your standards. She's the kindest, warmest woman on planet Earth. But you'd have to walk through her muddy driveway and through her chicken shit-filled yard to get to her warm house, where she will wash all of the dirt off of you and welcome you into her home with no thought of money or repayment, just sheer kindness. And it's so fucking rare on planet Earth that I didn't even know what it was until I saw it. Now I know what affected me in Costa Rica, and I'm sure if they experience it, if you expose them to it, fuck, it's like a cocaine, nicotine, Coca-Cola, bro. It'll make you start crying while recording yourself driving down the road after dropping off your best homies. It's primal and spiritual and the most realist thing I've ever felt, but you can't see it. They think I'm crazy. No, man, I finally found kind people who are nice to me with no concept of racism, who love the earth and protect it and live substantially below their means and are happy with simple things. And they were nice to me. Nobody, not even my fucking family, has ever been nice to me other than Alex. And after all, I've watched Eric Lundgren and Julian Brown and Stefan trip around and interact with these people and experience the same thing, now I know. It's just love. It's love on love on love, packaged up.
How cool is that? There's just so much love, and a lot of these things that we're seeing on all these networks, there is just division. You know, you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you're a libtard, you're a Republican tard, you have red hair, white hair, orange hair, black hair, whatever, man, whatever.
In a box that you'd never expect. And because you're so goddamn smart in your own eyes and so modern, you couldn't see the fountain of youth that was right in front of your face. You discard it as a dumb, poor farm woman and walk on. Back to your fucking house. Back to your money and your comfort and your air conditioning. And be miserable the rest of your fucking life. Because that's what you deserve for discarding things that don't look right. I just want to be there one day when the whole fucking world learns their lesson. And until then, I'm gonna bring as many people as I can here to experience it before it happens. Fuck, show is out.
All right, y'all. We're going live every day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Share this with whoever you want, if you want. Yeah, just to give you a really good message to leave on. It's really important to do good things. You know, there's a lot of bad things happening, but say, for instance, I'd had a transaction today and I was supposed to get like $16 back. And then there's brand new fives. Dude gave me $21 back and some change. And I took it, and I could tell it was new bills. And then I went home and I was like, I noticed it was 21. It wasn't 16. So I was like, man, all right, whatever. But I don't want this guy to get fired because he's such a cool guy. He helped me and all this other stuff. So it was just on my mind the whole time. So eventually I went back and I was like, hey, y'all miss me? And like, yeah, whatever, you know, normal, nothing special, nothing not special. And I was like, well, here, check this out. And I like pulled out the cash and I was like, see how this money looks? And like, do you see these like fives? Do you see how they're new? She's like, yeah. And I took the 20 of fives out and I handed it to her and I was like, I was supposed to get 16 back. How much is that? She's like, that's 4 fives. That's 20. And I'm like, yeah. She's like looking at me. She's all weird. Like, I don't know what you're doing over here. And I was like, well, you guys are so nice and he's so cool. I don't want him to get fired. Like whenever you guys count the register after you guys go to sleep. So you want to take a 5 back? He's like, oh my God, man, you're so cool, man. I would never expect that. That's so awesome. And after I did that, I walked outside and it felt like my eyes almost started tearing up. Like the Lord came into me and it was like, just, there's so much happiness and peace. And after that, I got some amazing thoughts, like some really, really amazing thoughts. And it could, you could think it's weird or whatever you want, but I don't know how to quantify them in words, how incredible that feeling and that sensation is. And it's only $5, but it could also like mean the difference between someone having to like go through that resume and find a new job because he's getting fired, or me just being like, hey, I made a mistake, you made a mistake, everyone's made a mistake, and this time these bills are stuck together because they're brand new $5 bills. Take that 5. And I hope this message kind of just inspires you to do good, and not just for other people, but for yourself too, because whenever you do good, there's something inexplainable. I'm trying to understand what it is, but there's something so pretty and so beautiful. So I just want to tell you guys, I love you. The Lord loves you. Your family loves you. And follow your dreams. Try to do the right thing. And yeah, we're going live every single day of 2026. So if you want, like, subscribe, turn on notifications, share, and take care of yourself. And yeah, don't be a stranger.